So welcome all today. I'm Hemant, founder and CEO of iNRI. Happy to be doing this webinar today, especially on for US NRIs and OCIs. So we'll be talking briefly about uh, what is the US tax filing season look like, what to expect this one, how to maximize your refund, and more importantly, have it less stressful and more peace of mind. So today's agenda will discuss tax deadlines and dates, how to do it the right way, filing with iNRI, and any question answers after that. Feel free to use the Zoom chat in between to keep asking questions if you need. We'll answer all of them in the end. So to give a quick introduction on iNRI, we are building a one-stop financial platform for the 35 million Indian diaspora. Uh, Imagine it to be a super app for NRIs. And we have begun with two products in that. So one is investments and second is taxation. And there are a few more to come in the coming year, which is remittances and banking. So in a way, we are able to complete that vision, going forward and imagine like in 5 years, this would be a much more established platform. So I really appreciate everyone's support so far and even going forward. As of today, we have 11,000 plus NRIs, OCIs from 40 plus countries be part of the platform. And essentially, we are a global platform, but we do focus on the US as well. Okay, so coming to the US tax season, some of the dates have already passed. The season generally now or officially starts on January 27. So it has already begun. Uh, W-2 form should already be in for most employers, or I would say 100% of them. That's a deadline by the IRS. 1099s are yet to be received. Most likely by February end, all 1099s should be available. So do check it out. You should be receiving emails about from your brokerage accounts or your bank savings that these forms will be available. So keep a check on them and make sure you have them ready as you file. Further, if you have LLCs or S corps, you may be receiving K1s as well. There's a certain due date around by March that you should receive it. So, and then the major deadline which is upcoming is April 15, which I guess everybody knows it's a tax day. Unless it's a holiday, that would be the honored day for the last day of for the filing season. It is also the deadline to file or request an extension where you can file in October if you're not looking to file this April. It is also the deadline to make IRA and HSA contributions for the last year, which is 2024. And then, yes, October 15 would be the deadline to file your extended return. Now, how to do it the right way? Ideally, there are simple guidelines, I would say, defer your taxes. The reason is that, if you defer any tax for a foreseeable future, then you are able to, pay less today and then pay later, but maybe there is some benefit where you have, let's say, pre-tax income, for example, 401k or Roth IRA, or even Roth, Mega Backdoor Roth, and so on. So we discussed about this a lot in the last webinar, so we'll not go into detail, but we're just talking simple guidelines on how to, do this season, for example. And essentially, if you can defer your taxes, you can maximize your refund that you may have already paid or pay less taxes to the IRS. Also, you need to minimize the stress. It can be a stressful season, and obviously, it's related with money, and money, is a double-edged sword. And so, especially with taxes, you want to make sure that you are doing the right way as well as you're doing it in more a compliant manner. And a lot of people find that sometimes uneasy to work with. And then obviously peace of mind is important. Who should file your taxes? I think this is a question probably everyone has it. I always had it. So I've been in the US for 8 years now. And throughout my time, I have done most of the times DIY. But that has been because I had been single and things were easy. I would have one W-2, maybe couple of 1099s. But then, as things progress, I'm married and I have a kid, things get complicated. And so that's where the question comes in, too many things to take care of and, who should do your taxes. And the major factor is not about, I think, should be the cost, but more about the effectiveness of this process, right? So I've noted down some of the, pros and cons or DIY versus tax expert. And you can see, obviously, the DIY is the cheapest one. You do it yourself. Tax expert would take a bit more, could be even double or even more than that. Now, but DIY needs more time, right? It also requires you to be more educated and more knowledgeable, right, of the IRS tax codes, understand where you can claim deductions, what are you eligible for. And I think especially this is hard for NRIs because all of us have been through an immigration journey. And now, let's say if you're on an F1 visa or a J1 visa or you are on H1B, now it might not be clear, should you be eligible because there is this whole question of are you a non-resident or you're a resident alien or you are a green card holder or you're a G or you're a citizen, right? So certain things may not apply for you, and so it is best to kind of do your own research as well as consult an expert, on that. Obviously, DIY can be more stressful as well because you want to make sure that you are doing things right, and there's always this question, if there is something wrong, and would you receive a notice from the IRS if that might not be correct. Now, as I mentioned about, DIY is best for simple cases, right? Like you have single W-2, easy 1099s and standard deduction if you're taking. But if you have a more complex case, if you have a spouse filing jointly, multiple brokerage accounts, dependents, itemized deductions, you have a stop LLC. Best to delegate that to an expert who understands and can also help you find make or save more money. DIY also has a high reliance on software. I think the DIY um, has become more possible because of softwares like TurboTax, HNR Block, and many others. Uh, right? If that was not the case, I'm sure people would probably rely on experts in that case. Now, tax experts also use these softwares, but there is also an important aspect of experience now because they may have filed thousands of taxes before or tax filings, right? They are probably more knowledgeable and have seen one or more cases, similar to you, and that's much easier for them to kind of take care of. The bottom line is, you need to evaluate, what suits you, what is your context, and most likely, if it is a complex case, best to take a tax expert here. Now, coming to iNRI, so we are building a solution where you can file your US taxes with us. The unique proposition here is that it's a solution, built by an NRI, but more importantly for NRIs, right? The reason it is important because it is, many tax experts or even tax filing softwares do not necessarily handle cases where you have to file, let's say, FATCA, FBAR, even complex cases like PFIC. And the cost might even go higher because if you go on TurboTax, the easiest one to file is probably, free or even maybe less than $100. But as you keep adding more forms, it just got, more than 500. Last year itself, I probably paid about $300 doing it myself, right? So when you have more cases of different forms, and especially that relates to, let's say, reporting your foreign income assets and paying taxes on that, or even taking tax credits on the taxes paid, in a foreign country, most likely India, best to take an expert who can file more comfortably for you. So we provide that service. Essentially, it's a full service. We do not provide DIY software. It's a CPA based or a tax expert based software. And basically, you add your details, upload your forms, and then we connect with you as an expert who will file your taxes on behalf of you. But there's going to be a review process, so it's not like, there's no touch here. You will connect with them over a call or as you need, and then, essentially approve and review your return and then finally file it. So we are starting with a base price of $69. $69 means this would include W-2 and 1040. So this is the base price that you would have seen in many other software cases. So depending on your complexity of the case, if you have more 1099, multiple W-2s, and then foreign reporting, the price can go higher. But we want to make sure that this is highly competitive with respect to your previous tax filing cost, as well as any other thing that you might be considering this year. So let us know, and we can definitely make it more flexible. Um, yes, and bottom line is also, we are a IRS approved e-file provider. That means, as good as TurboTax, uh, and we exceed and meet, all security standards as set by the IRS. So we are authorized to take taxpayer data that includes all your forms and, file and prepare for it. What are the four steps here to file? So first is, as I said, tell us about yourself, answer a few questions, and upload your docs. Find your tax expert, and third is connect with them as needed, and fourth is just review and relax as they file. And you don't need to pay upfront, so the filing cost will be determined as you upload the forms, but more likely you will be paid when you just file it. So after the review process would be the point that you will have to pay. Our team is expanding. Currently, we have 4+ people on board. I've highlighted three of them who we are working very closely with. And our team has jointly covered more than 1,000 filings so far. And we have experts from all over the geography, some in the US, some in India, as depending on what's your flexibility in terms of cost and pricing. You would have a good enough variety on choosing your experts. Okay, so coming to a special offer, so I know April is a season when you should look to file, and probably I have filed most of my taxes in April because we want to delegate, or not delegate, but kind of procrastinate, right, to the last days of the season. But I don't think it's a great idea, especially if you're considering a refund in place. Best to get the refund soon. Also, it can get stressful if you just park it for April. So I think best to do it early. So if you have your forms already coming in, start your filing with iNRI. We are offering $50 off for the first 100 filings, and you could use code February to begin with. You just need to initiate the process. I understand you may not have all the forms right now, but even if you initiate it, we can get the conversation going and prepare and better plan for your filing in advance. And I think that only helps not just us, but more importantly, you to kind of get the max out of this process. We make sure to get you, every dollar you deserve in your taxes, and we offer direct deposit. So basically, as you file, you would receive direct deposit on your refund into your bank account directly. Okay, so contact us. These are our coordinates. You could reach out to us on email, WhatsApp, Zoom call with me, and then we also have a WhatsApp NRI community that you can be part of. Okay, so just we're already at 15 minutes, so want to keep most of the time for Q&A as well. I can also quickly show you before this the platform. So here's our marketing page. You can go through this. I'll share the link as well in the chat, and um, essentially this talks about the process and some of the things we already spoke about today. Okay. Okay, so let's go through the Q&A. Okay, so first question is by Hari. Single W-2 but rental income from India. Is it good to do DIY? So most likely you have your simple US case, but foreign reporting can be complex and you might, I think, require an expert. Best to consult one, I think, if you need. We do have consultations as well if you're not particularly looking for, filing, but just need consultation, you can also go through a consultation with us as well. But yes, I mean, depending on the case, it's more likely, you could probably go with an expert. Does the price include multiple state, multiple W2? No, it does not include multiple states. I mean, basically the base pricing includes only one W2, and then depending on the complexity, it would add to more. So I think we can best give you a quote or estimate. If you can let us know on chat or separately, what's your case look like. Could you please explain how can I save more on F1 visa? Um, so I'm not a tax guy per se, but I can help you connect with an expert who can probably explain more on, how a student visa, if you are on F1, anything special you could do. But more importantly, one thing to understand is if you are paying taxes in the US, then you are a US tax resident, right? So people believe that you may not require to report your foreign income or whatever. That's not the case. If you are a US tax resident, you are required to do so and be compliant. Now that's by the paper, whether people do it or not, that's a different case. But visa or whether not on visa does not matter much sometimes. What matters most is if you are a US tax resident or not.
Hemant, I just want to add here,
Yeah.
F1 visa holders have an option to remain as
Okay.
a non-tax resident till the time they are studying.
Okay. Okay. So
Mm.
yeah, we have Abhishek. I think he can best answer these questions. So feel free to chime in, Abhishek. Thanks for that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I just pointed out the F1 visa holders have an option till the time their
Okay.
study is continuing. They can continue to be a non-tax resident. Then their global income is not taxable in the US.
But if they're making any side income, let's say doing any college
Only
jobs
US
or
income is taxable till the time they are non-taxable. Only US income is taxable. Let's say they are doing
okay.
something, driving Uber, or they are working somewhere else on part-time basis. That is going to be
Hmm.
taxed. If they're having an income in India, that won't be taxed.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that is I think helpful to know. Thanks. DIYs, do it yourself. What's the process if IRS calls for clarification and I want to reach out to the person to help file tax? Will that expert be able? Yes, we do help with that as well. So if you receive any questions or notice from the IRS, we can help with response to that as well. Uh, I need some advice on J1. How can I save? So I think yeah, this depends again on a personalized basis. So we request to reach out unless you want to share openly. But I think advice is more like personal. So feel free to reach out and then uh, we can advise better. Will the cost of filing jointly with my spouse be the same? Um, Depends. I mean, if it includes multiple W-2s, as I said, and more forms for 1099, then the cost will be higher than 69. But we can definitely make it competitive, compared to TurboTax or other CPAs if you might be considering that. Uh, yeah, the price does not include married couple. It's for an individual, but it won't be that much. I mean, like if you even if you include one more W-2, it probably will just go to $99. But then again, if you have more 1099, then could be go to up to let's say 150 or if there's much more complexity, so $200. While filing taxes for the last year, I used US India tax TT or J1. Okay, maybe Abhishek, you could help us here on J1 visa. So Manav says while filing taxes for the last year, he used US India tax treaty benefits on J1 visa. But he's planning to stay in the US for this year. So does he need to file any amendments?
No, 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 no amendments for the previous year, which has been done.
Mhm.
J1 visa is almost like a student visa, so there are few exceptions. It's under an exchange program that is another different. So there are different categories of student visa only.
Mhm.
You have certain benefits in J1.
Got it. Okay, Ganesh, thanks for doing this. Quick question. Does iNRI CA team help in getting lower TDS? So we do have a CA team, and they can help getting lower TDS. And so we have our expert team. Let me quickly show. So this is our webpage, and You could set up for a 30-minute consultation with multiple experts here. So we kind of list many of them here, and many of them are also CA, so they can help you get a lower TTA certificate. So they offer different products. So I encourage looking at this as well. I can put in this in the chat for your quick reference. What would be the cost of PFIC filing? Um, Abhishek, you want to answer that?
It all depends number of investments you have and what kind of option you have exercised, whether you have gone for mark to market or you have gone for realized basis. QEF is not possible practically for Indian mutual funds, but if you have gone for the realized basis or mark to market, then the price may depend whether you have sold it or not. So there are a lot of factors involved into it.
Got it. Yeah. So similar question to for the next one. So yes, we help with complex filing such as Indian FDs, mutual funds. As Abhishek mentioned, that would be an extra cost, but we do help with that as well. So, and that's where I think the unique value comes in, where you can file with iNRI related to your foreign and especially Indian income, which might be taxed differently, compared to the US. Okay, so thank you, Himan. Is it only Abhishek who handles NRI? No, so we have more people as well. As I said, as I showed about the team. We are expanding our team further, so by the end of February, you should have about 10 experts, that can work and help with you. So yeah, but we have our team and definitely more than one. Do we need to report unrealized gains on investments in India? Ideally, yes. That's the compliant way to do so. Many people not choose to do it, but again, it also depends on the type of risk that you're taking. There is no good answer, but there is one, obviously, the compliant answer that we have. Abhishek, do you want to add on, uh, the importance of reporting? Yeah.
Yeah, reporting is essential because to save upon your penalties and all those things. It all depends what kind of investment is it.
Mm,
In case of mutual fund investments, you have option to pay tax on notional basis on the notional gains, or you pay on realized basis. So it all depends which option you exercise, what is your long term goal, and depending on those, you have to ascertain which option, because the option is available in the first year itself. When you
mm,
make the investment, you have the option to choose whether you want to go to the realized basis or a notional basis, mark to market. So if you don't exercise, then you are automatically deemed to have exercised the option of realized basis. So you defer
mm,
till the time you don't actually sell that. The
mm,
only implication of that is that when you go for a realized basis, you pay tax along with the interest. But it has an advantage also that whenever you sell the asset in India or any other part of the world, you pay tax to that country also, for which you will get the credit. So it may offset your interest cost, but tax has to be paid sooner or later. So it's all a personal decision which you have to make.
yep. Yep. Okay, so moving on, I use Tax for filing federal taxes 2023. I came to later that I had to mail the tax return copy to the IRS, which I didn't. But I got the federal refund. Did I file correctly, or do I need to file tax amendment? Um, okay, so somewhat of a complex case. Abhishek, can you help here? Like, so basically, this guy used tax. He had to mail the tax return copy, but couldn't do so. Does he need to file amendment or do anything else?
Which question you are, I am not able to.
Okay, so let me read it out loud. So I used Sprint Tax for filing federal
Yeah, I
taxes in
found it.
2023. Yeah. So I think the base of the question is like, is there any amendment that needs to be filed, or was it done correctly?
Yeah, yeah, no, you have done it correctly. If you have got the refund, you have done it correctly. You can call for your transcripts, and if they are available, then the data is available in the portal, and then information is correctly been filed,
Hmm.
because it should be e-transmitted, and I guess it must have been done because you got the refund. But
Hmm.
as far as state is concerned, they might have not, because I don't think so. because there are certain states where the software there is a software utility which is not supported. What I can understand is like that particular state is not supported by Spring Tax.
Mm.
So you need to check whether that Spring Tax utility is available or not. You don't need to amend it. You just need to send it if it has not been provided. You can go call for the transcripts and get yourself aware whether that has been received or not.
Got it. Thanks, Abhishek. So Chirag, currently on H1B, I'm living in Illinois and Wisconsin for 2024 W2 from NJ. My wife does not mention anything in social recording. Should I ask for a corrected W2? Also, will I need to file it or multiple? Abhishek, could you help
Yes,
here?
you should ask for a
Yeah.
corrected.
Okay.
W2 is the basic information which IRS is having. If it is incorrect, then they will match that information with your return and it is going to lead you to a notice or inquiry or something like that. It's always advisable to have your corrected W2 because that is a document through which they are going to compare your numbers.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. And will you need to file in for multiple states as well?
Yes, he has to.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm getting stipend from my college on F1, so I need to file tax return. Is there any tax treaty?
Stipend is taxable. Even if the treaty is there, then also you have to pay tax in US.
Yes. So
There is a
basically,
treaty between India and US, but you have to pay tax in US for the stipend you have earned.
okay. So yeah, so tax return filing would be then mandatory. I've been selling stocks in India through my NRI trading account with Zerodha. I've not yet filed any tax returns in India since I'm already taxed in India via TDS. So how can I claim foreign tax credit in the US? Uh, Abhishek?
It will be very difficult for claiming foreign tax credit. It is always advisable to file taxes in India and maintain the copy. There is a specific form for claiming in US foreign tax credit. 1116 is, I guess, the form. But if you have not paid taxes and filed taxes in India, you will not get the benefit of it.
Mm. Yeah, so essentially, I mean, filing Indian taxes and having that proof is the key to uh, determine any credit, whether you're in a foreign country. Is
One
that
thing
right?
which I would like to highlight is that many people have NRO accounts in India and investments in India on which the basic 30% tax is initially deducted by the bank itself. So out of that 30%, now the income tax is not taxable till 4 lakhs. So your
Mm,
tax is not, you don't have to pay any tax till 4 lakhs. So whatever you have paid in India is not getting adjusted with your tax liability in US because they have just deducted it.
mm,
It has not gone to the Indian government. Nobody knows it. So it is always advisable to claim that refund and pay it to the US government. Because
mm,
let's say if somebody is having interest of 3 lakh rupees in his NRO account, FDs and all those, so bank will pay only 2 lakh 10,000. Now 4
mm,
lakhs is tax free.
mm,
Till for the year we are talking about 24, it was 3 lakhs. Now it is increased yesterday only for to 4 lakhs. So till 3 lakhs it is not taxable. So you have to claim the refund from Indian government and pay it to the US government. TDS itself will not make it a foreign taxable credit available to you.
got it. Already paid for TurboTax this year. Can I get someone for a Yes, we can help for review. Um, how much would it be? I think depends on the complexity, but definitely reach us out at tax@GoNRI or just respond on chat and we can help with that. Do NPS Tier 2 investments come under PFIC? Um, Abhishek, NPS Tier 2.
NPS is a retirement fund. PFIC is not applicable to retirement.
Okay. Do you guys also help with filing taxes in India? Yes, we do help file taxes in India as well. Um, okay, and another question is, do I came to US on 9th April 2024. My wife is in India, so I have to file my taxes in India for 9 days plus US taxes plus wife's India tax. Um, Abhishek, could you help? I think there's some days that are some in India and some in the US for the past year.
What I can understand, he was there only for 9 days. Will he be having a taxable income in India in those 9 days?
Mm. Yeah,
because
I'm not sure.
in
Hmm. But there
that
might be
is,
other income, right?
yeah,
Some
yeah,
other
we can
income.
file as far as the question is concerned. Yes, it can be done.
Hmm.
That's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so next question again on PFIC. If the total value of your PFIC shares is less than 25 and 50K for married couples, uh, you may not need to file 8621. Is this correct, Abhishek?
I missed it, Hemant. I was reading something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the question is like if the value of your total value of your PFIC is less than 25K and 50K for married couples, then do we need to file 8621?
Yes, we need to file. There is no limit for PFIC for $25,000.
Hmm. So could you shed more light, where does this limit comes from? And I believe like this is written on IRS, but maybe in a different context.
Yeah, that is a different thing. So it's a PFIC is a different topic. It will take away the whole time of it. We can have a separate session for PFIC sometime.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complicated topic. So there
Okay.
are different levels. There are $10,000 limit in FBAR. There's
Mm,
$25,000 limit. There are different limits. So depending upon the circumstances. But
mm,
anyway, 8621 is simply filed whether it is whatever the amount is.
mm.
It
So I
is
also
for
want
investors
to,
outside India, outside US.
yeah, yeah. Also want to highlight we'll be doing a more dedicated webinar as well in the coming, I mean this month as well, where we'll talk about how to do your foreign reporting and particularly about India, about your mutual funds, FDs, stocks, real estate, and anything else. Is the process opaque, or once you upload the docs, can we get on a call with a tax consultant? Also, for next year, will you be able to keep the same tax consultant as they understand the complexities? Yes, you can speak with the call, I mean, over call with the consultant. So, and as much as needed as you, file for the season. For next year, definitely you can keep the same tax consultant. Obviously, it depends on if they are still associated with iNRI. And but yes, you have that freedom to choose. So. This is in reference to my earlier question on unrealized gains. I have only invested, not sold them. Yeah, so I think we spoke about this. So if it is in mutual fund, ideally you need to report them, even for unrealized cases. Do you support for ITIN application? Currently we don't do so for ITIN, but it's something that can be supported. We can do, but I suggest reaching out to us on chat so that we can understand better and maybe find it through our experts. Does PMS investments come under PFIC? I believe not, right, Abhishek? PMS does not come under PFIC.
It all depends.
Okay.
PFIC. Uh, there's a question that equities are not PFIC. Equities
Hmm.
can also be PFIC. You have to check PFIC. PFIC is passive foreign income company. There are conditions laid out when when a investment is classified as a PFIC.
Hmm.
Example: any holding company which is listed will be a PFIC.
Hmm.
Burma
So,
Trading Company is a holding company of Britannia Industries. Burma Trading is a PFIC. Britannia is not a PFIC.
hmm.
So you
So,
have to see what is
yeah.
there.
So let me ask a scenario here. So let's say if someone has a PMS and they are investing in ETFs, will that be PFIC now? Because its ETF is a
PMS
passive.
PMS is a portfolio management. It's a portfolio management service provided by a particular service provided.
Hmm.
The individual holding in those has to be
Hmm.
verified whether they are PFIC investments or they are not PFIC investments. It's a
Hmm.
portfolio which they are managing.
Hmm.
So that can be equities, it can be mutual fund, it can be ETFs, it can be FDs, it can be anything. What
So
is the
if they
composition
are
of those investments? You have to check that.
okay, so they can be PFICs provided if I mean the underlying
Mm.
are PFICs.
Yeah, if the underlying are PFIC, yes, they can be.
Okay. Okay, so this is about US India calendar. So India follows a different calendar. US is calendar year end. How does foreign tax credit is calculated?
Ideally, we always suggest clients that they should file their US taxes after Indian taxes if it is a substantial amount involved. You can file an
Hmm.
extension for their US and defer that. because in India you file the return somewhere in June and July, so it's always advisable to defer it till October. Pay all your taxes in US, prepare your US return, pay all the taxes, and defer it till the time you file the Indian taxes.
Hmm. So what about guaranteed savings plan? We pay 10-year premium, but we get income only for the 15th year. Is this PFIC? I think this is probably ULIP, what you're asking about. Is that right, Hari? Abhishek, do you know if this would be uh, taxed under PFIC?
I ULIPs are taxed under PFIX.
No, so
Okay.
these are not ULIPs, Hemant. So what happens is, so we are typically asked to invest, let's say like a yearly basis of 1 lakh, and
Hmm.
the plan they invest in corporate bonds behind the screen, which has like kind of a guaranteed income of 8% return. But however, we would be getting paid only from the 15th year. So ideally, there'll be only investment happening without any profit allocations for the first 15 years. So I just wanted to know, like, how will that be reported to our US government, and would this be classified as a PFIC or not?
In those traditional, I guess you are talking about traditional insurance plans. In traditional insurance plans where you pay premium till the time you keep on paying premium, your surrender value is always less than your amount paid.
Hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
rarely a case where you have any gains. So that doesn't result into any kind of taxation in US.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you.
Hmm. Because your cost is always more than your selling value,
Mm-hmm.
which you can realize. It's only
Right.
after the
Yes.
15th year when you start making money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Exactly.
stop paying the installments. There and then your taxability will come into picture.
Got it. Makes sense. Good. Thank you, Shakil.
Yeah.
And this would be treated under ordinary income, that's right? Any income
PFIX is
from
an
that.
ordinary income. They are not capital gain.
Right. Um, I think this is about the PFIC limit. As we discussed, there is no limit on this. In tax, I don't see PFIC expert. Okay, so yeah, you could consult with Abhishek on PFIC. He has filed for PFIC before as well and has a good understanding. So you could connect with Abhishek on the PFIC cases. FBAR as limit. Okay, not a question. Is PFIC only for passive investments like mutual fund? Yeah, so I think as we discussed briefly, PFIC is for passive investments that include mutual fund, but should would also include ETFs because they are not active equities. Does iNRI platform offer distinguish between passively and actively mutual funds and managers behind it? So all mutual funds are considered PFIC. So there is no active or and basically there is both passive and active mutual funds will be PFIC. Um, I didn't file PFIC for last year. Can I start filing from this year? And do I need to amend any returns? Do I need to file an ITR in India? If so, what are the timelines for DTA? We provide that. Yeah, so we do provide assistance for filing tax returns in India. Now, Abhishek, maybe you can help answer on this. So he didn't file for PFIC last year, and can he start doing this year, or and also would he need to amend any previous returns?
Since he has not filed it, so he doesn't have an option now.
Mhm.
If he wants to comply with it and does not want to offend IRS, because I don't know whether they are going to come back and say that you have not filed it and you are being penalized, which is a rare case. Many of the people doesn't file it. So because the amount involved are very less in most of the cases, so IRS doesn't bother. But sometimes they go finicky and they just penalize you for not filing it. So it's a very subjective answer. Legally speaking, yes, you should file it, you should amend it, but practically nobody does it.
Mm. Yeah. So for the
There is a
year
special
2020,
scheme also. If you have been in US for quite long time and you have not been filing, so there is a special amnesty scheme under which you can file your all prior periods and pay the tax.
Yeah, so we recommend consulting us separately so that you can share about your case more clearly and that will help us answer. If For the year 2024, I was a non-resident alien. I invested in CDs in Chase Bank. Do I need to ask for 1099? I think you would receive it automatically if you have invested in CDs. Chase would give you ideally. Should I have already given you, but if not, then pursue. They should give you. For foreign tax credit, do you use pro rata income and for tax for the US calendar year? Yeah.
Foreign tax credit is always calculated on pro rata.
Hmm. Okay. And yeah, we are recording this and we can send it across later for your comfort viewing. Can we claim the TDS deducted from NRO account for earned interest on FD? Additionally, can we transfer NRO funds to an NRE? How complex is the process? Um, yeah. Can we claim the TDS deducted?
Yes,
For
you have. If you have paid the tax, filed the return, you can claim it. That's not a problem. You have to include that income in your US income and claim it. There is no issue. As far as transferring of funds from NRO to NRE is concerned, it's quite a simple process. You need a certificate from a chartered accountant confirming if the amount involved is more than 500,000,
Hmm.
that the amount which you are transferring has already been paid to tax or it has not been taxable. And along with that, you make a declaration online in the income tax portal informing about the such
Hmm.
transaction, which is called as 15CA. A certificate is issued by the chartered accountant in 15CB. These are the two documents which are required by the bank along with the application for transferring the funds from NRO to NRE. And NRE and NRO and NRI is allowed to transfer $1 million from NRO to NRE in a year.
Hmm. And we do help with that process as well. So you could
Yeah,
connect
yeah.
with one of our experts to get this CACB filing done. Okay, so this question is more on, I think, India side, like how investment in private investments via AIF is taxed for NRIs. And with new budget, how capital gains and interest income will be taxed.
Capital gains are going to. There is no change in the budget regarding the taxability of capital gains, and this is the first budget in last so many years where nothing has changed in capital gains. Every
Hmm.
year there used to be some tinkering here and there, but this is the first budget in last so many years where there is no change in capital gains. They are
Hmm.
taxed at 12.5%, which was changed last year itself.
Hmm.
So whatever your gains are would be taxed at 12.5% in India,
Yeah,
but they have to be included in your US income.
got it. And how
Yeah.
investment in private investment is any different or taxed for NRIs?
I cannot understand what exactly you want.
I think there are AIFs, basically alternative investment funds.
AIFs are also AIF is as good as the mutual fund. It's a small mutual
Okay.
fund.
Hmm.
Mm. AIF is nothing but a mutual fund only.
Got it.
Mm.
I don't have 1099G for my last year refund, but I got the refund and I know the exact amount. Would it work while filing tax this year?
Yeah, it would work.
Okay. If we have invested in startups or platforms like AngelList or Micro Venture, do I need to file taxes? None of them have gone public or got acquired.
According to the Indian Income Tax Act, anybody investing into Indian equities is required to obtain a PAN number. So if you have a PAN number and if it's an option whether you want to file taxes or not, it is always advisable to file the taxes because it creates a documentary evidence for your international transactions that
Hmm.
it has been reported to the tax authorities of both the countries.
I think this might be a question for the US side, if I'm not wrong. So if they have invested in, let's say, US startups via angel list platforms, do they need to file taxes if nothing has gone public so far?
So if you are in US, you have to file taxes. तो उसमें तो कोई doubt ही नहीं है. I thought it is a question where somebody is investing through platforms or angel
Hmm.
investing into Indian startups.
Hmm.
So as it is mandatory to have a PAN if you are making investment in Indian companies.
Hmm.
So you should have a PAN, and depending upon your income, you will have to file the taxes. But it's always advisable to file taxes in India so that you have evidence in US.
Yeah. I think he's clarifying later that it's for US startups. So let's say, I mean, if US startups have not gone public, so there is no taxability here, right?
So
Is that?
US, if he's depending upon his other income and all those things, he has to file the taxes. If he's below the threshold and doesn't have any income, he can escape that.
Hmm. I'm investing some X amount per month in Bajaj ULIP for next 10 years. Do I need to report this in my US tax return?
Yes, you have to report. You have to
And
report in your FinCEN also.
and it comes under PFIC as well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In PFIC, if we do M2M election and not sell any MF in meantime, we will be paying tax on US. However, when we move to India permanently and then start selling it, how does it work? Uh,
Once you move to India, it all depends what is your status. If you're a green card holder, then you have to pay tax on your global income in US. If
hmm,
let's say you are on H1B visa and you go back, you are no more a tax resident of US. There won't be any taxability in US.
hmm. I'm considering investing through Gift City as an NRI. Do I need to pay taxes in US? Is there any limit to invest in Gift City? Also, do I need to report this income in India?
There is no limit. You can invest whatever you want. Depending upon Gift City is the easy route because many mutual funds doesn't accept investments from US
Hmm,
and Canada citizens or the tax residents. There are only limited number of mutual funds. Gift City is a route through which they can directly take investments from US and Canada residents.
hmm. And will they we have to pay taxes in US on that the gains
Yes,
made in? Yeah.
yes. You have to pay taxes in India also.
Hmm.
Gift City does not give an exemption.
Yeah, I think more importantly, what Gift City makes it easy for people to invest from outside, right? Without the complications of, let's say, NRE, NRO bank or having Indian documentation.
Basically, Gift City is considered as a part of an SEZ, Special Economic Zone. So,
Hmm.
if you are a US resident, you have to pay tax in US only.
Hmm.
And any fund which is listed in Gift City and you're doing investments, so you have to pay tax in US only.
Got it. Okay, so that's all the questions we had. Okay, there's one more question that has just come up. Can you clarify whether unrealized gains in India are taxable? Yes, I think we did answer. So unrealized gains from MFs are taxable in the US under PFIC. Um, okay, so thanks for staying over almost an hour now. Thanks, Abhishek, for answering the questions. If you have more questions, feel free to ask now or later through email or through our chat. Uh, Also, highlighting again, so you can also file taxes with iNRI. This is the offer that we are putting up for the month. You can use code February and get 50 off for the first 100 filings. We're gonna also do more events, webinars in the coming month. And here is our event list. So we're planning for also two in-person events. So myself and Dinesh will be available in Sunnyvale and Fremont. So if you're in the Bay Area, we will are doing these two in-person events. We'll also share about these in the email post after this webinar. There's one more webinar, two actually webinars coming on Feb 9. One is the India budget highlights. So most of you would know that India budget happened yesterday, Feb 1st. And so we're going to present brief highlights and also what and how it affects NRIs, particularly the India budget. And then there are a few more Q&As coming up. We plan to do a more deep dive session on foreign reporting too, and we'll announce that date very soon as well. With that, thank you everyone for joining today. Hope you have a good Sunday and a good weekend. And yeah, if you have more questions, please reach out later as well. Thank you.